we have a good hand. We like this hand. We're on the play. So our like knowledge here and our thinking is Slate Pierce Fairy, Bitter Blossom. Like we're like it sounds like a winning game plan, right? And I'm pretty sure it will be because it's so strong. So we're on the play. So this right here is just grade A primo what we want. Okay, we can't have a better setup than this, really. So our opponent then Luron reveals, grabs land, he then plays land. He then lets us untap. So he lets us untap. He has 2 cards in his graveyard. We can counter anything he plays. Okay. Either through Drown the Lock this, we can Fatal Push, we can bounce something, we can play the Borrower itself. So he Bowmasters. So I have a couple ways I can deal with this. So I choose to Fatal Push, holding up my mana for other things. He's going to kill the Faerie. I think this is a fair trade. What I'm finding out with Slate Pierce Fairy here, and this is something that's come up a lot and I've only played 10, 15 games with Sleepy right now, is this card is so greedy. This card wants mana so bad. To the point that it wants on curve play so much that I think that this isn't a tempo card possibly. I'm thinking that this is more of a more lands kind of control deck. And I'm really happy about that because it really fits my playstyle really good, really, really well, and what I want to be doing with this game. But what I'm not happy is that my tempo friends might not enjoy it as much as I am. I'm going to. So because we're in a tempo shell right now, and that's where we're at right now. And I say this is greedy is because if you go back 2 turns ago, I had a chance. I played Bitter Blossom. What I could have done is leave my mana open. I could have then untapped this, okay, and then this would have came untapped this next turn, this next upkeep to swing. That is very relevant because you're choosing to untap this Ward 2, Faerie for 3/3 body flyer, and it's just good. It gets there, it turns the corner well. To turn the corner a turn faster, but you can't cast your Bitter Blossom. I don't know if we as Faerie players can do that. I don't know if we can. It wants us to skip our turn 2 completely. To not play Bitter Blossom. To pump this, to get it, to protect it, and to get it out of things sooner. Now, why is this relevant? This is relevant because tempo and aggro decks don't necessarily see 4 lands in 4 turns a lot. They play 18 to 21, 22 lands. That's where tempo lands. And the control decks are more 23, 24, 25 lands or more. This card needs more lands in it to be effective. You want 4 land drops in 4 turns every game, consistently. And the reason why is this card is so greedy. And if you can be greedy in 2 different places on this card. You can be greedy on turn 2 and untap it, and then it just sits there, and then you untap for turn 3, and then you go about your way. Or you play your Bitter Blossom, your turn 2 drop, you then go to turn 3, and then on the end of turn 3, you either untap it or tap it. Or you're untap on, and you play your 4th land for turn on turn 4, and then you just untap it for the final time because it doesn't have a stun counter on anymore, and you just go ahead and attack with it that phase. So that's what we're finding out, the sequencing of events that's coming out on this. And the only way this makes sense, the only way it's okay, is if you hit every single land drop in your turn from the first 4 land drops. It is the only way it makes sense. Because at that point, you've lost so much tempo. You're riding Sleepy to the end. And you're getting off the Bitter Blossom game. I can't make that trade. I don't know if I can do that. So Sleep Curse Faerie is actually telling me that I'm so mana hungry that you need to not play Bitter Blossom, which is fine if you're not playing Bitter Blossom. Hence the problem. Don't play your best turn 2 card. I don't see that happening. So because I don't see that happening, I don't see Sleepy in a tempo kind of a deck. Because of there's these times that you see right in front of us, okay, that you just get hung out on 3 mana for a long time. And that matters. So, continuing. So, he then unearths main phase to grab the Orcish Bowmasters to be able to do it. He then Burning Inquiries. So he's playing this weird Orcish Bowmasters unearth Burning Inquiry kind of going. He might even be playing Hollowed One. He might even be playing that on top of this. So, and what this is basically doing is we're both drawing 3 cards. He's doing 3 damage to us. It's kind of like the Brainstorm effect for everyone, except for we're also discarding cards. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he's also playing Waste Not in this deck, and I think he should be. So, he's also playing Narset, and then Lyron Revealed, but that's here nor there. So we go ahead and we counter the Burning Inquiry because we can't handle that kind of stuff right now. He can't kill Sleepy, but him taking 3 damage to us, we just don't want to do that. And this becomes a 4/4. No, can't do it. So he attacks. We take 1 instead of 7. Which is nice. We would have took 4 off the Orc and then 3 off the Bowmasters to the face. So then we draw a Sleepy. So not, and this goes my prior point here. So what I just explained about having 4 mana on curve to be able to pull this off. If we draw land here, untapped land, we play land, we untap Curse Faerie, we attack for 3 in the air. Okay, he's at 10, and we feel good about that. You know, we have a Bowmasters in hand. We have another Bitter Blossom if I want to put another Bitter Blossom out, which I don't at this point. He's playing Bowmasters, so we don't want to go in that direction. I would like to Bowmaster his Bowmaster. We want to play that game, which is dumb, but it's the current world we live in. Instead of that best case scenario, we get this case scenario where we get the Sleep Curse Faerie, and we have 3 mana to play with. I don't have anything else to do other than play the Sleep Curse Faerie and pass the turn. Or, you know, if I want to. I can tap out, throw the other Bitter Blossom down, but I really can't do anything productive here. So I decide to Orcish Bowmasters and then take out his board just saying he's tapped out. He can't counter anything. He can't do anything else. I'm going to take out the token while it's small, so we can't Orcish Bowmasters around it. And then I'm going to play the other Sleepy. He then hits Consider. This is a good thing. Any kind of cantrip, Sorcerer Speed cantrip, is going to hit Orcish Bowmasters. So we're gonna win this war. He then unearths the Bowmasters. He takes out our Bowmasters. That's my, what I was trying to do. But he was turned slow. We then do this. Now, what's cool about Sleepy here is Sleepy, every time he pings this individually, he's gonna have to pay 2. So the only thing he can do is take out these tokens and hit me to the face. So, and I forget. So he found out the hard way here. So he wastes one of his pings by hitting the Sleep Curse Faerie. So, and this is one of the best parts about Sleep Curse Faerie. So even though I'm in a bad position, I'm completely tapped out. Not dead to rights, but I don't have anything going on. At least Sleep Curse Faerie has some kind of defense going for it. At least there's something there, So anyway, he loses that ping. He then takes out. He would have taken this other Faerie token out, I'm sure. He would have tried to clear the board. But at the end of the day, I'm still left with a 3/3. So, again, we don't draw land. Okay? We want the land. We want to be able to do this, which I will be able to, and be able to cast these because my deck is constructed correctly. But if these were like 2-mana spells, we're really mad with this. So kill the Bowmasters while he's down. We then attack full out. This, you can assume this not be there. So, and we're holding this back. One, it can't attack, but also just to block. So we're playing this. Okay, he attacks. So we throw the body in front of it. Alright. We then attack. He snaps. We snare. Alright. And then he gets up. So we do win this game. This is the only game that we played. But I felt like it gave a very good understanding of what Sleep Curse Faerie is and what it isn't, and where it really shines and where it doesn't. This card is extremely hard to play around for your opponent. It is extremely hard. Once it comes down, it sticks. And once it sticks, they're taking an entire turn off, if not waiting till like turn 6 or turn 7 to when this has had a couple turns to attack to have to deal with it still. Because it's still a 3/3 flyer. But like I said, it is so mana hungry that I don't foresee it being in a tempo shell. Now, with that said, and I said that Preordain is not my favorite, because it's not. It really isn't. Especially in this deck. Preordain might be better for this list because of that one element. The one element that I can find land easier and more often to do that. Now, Leorin Revealed, we can play that as well. But I'm not a fan of that either, because even if you're playing that, they're not lands itself. Yes, it's 100% to go find a land, and it kind of guarantees land droughts, but it doesn't always turn out that way. Sometimes Morningtide plays it, and sometimes they get stuck, on 2 lands for a while. We saw it on the last video, where they just get stuck on 2 lands. And that's another thing about Curse Faerie, her Sleepy, is he demands that our opponent also flood. So, which is a weird kind of thing. Ward in general is weird. It's so defensive. They have to flood out to be able to deal with this, which is something that normal decks don't want to do. They want to be on curve the whole time and then get their set amount of lands and then be good. Never touch lanes again. I want to do a straight gas at that point. Or they're discarding lands or throwing lands wherever. It's just not a thing. So it's like if they flood, it's a good thing for them because they can put attacks onto the sleepy, and if they don't, then they won't. So, and then they can't. But if they only have 2 mana available and there's sleepies and there's like a sleepy, they can't touch it at all. They can't even target it. And if they do, it's just countered. So, and maybe what'll happen is there'll be some card like this card can't be countered or something. I don't know what they are, but off the top of my head, but something that's like, oh, this can't be countered, destroy target creature. I don't think there's much out there, and I don't think they're mana efficient enough for modern, if they are. So, anyway, if you enjoy analysis like this, let me know. Subscribe to YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. So, have a good day.